Tonight I would like to talk about a little-known indie game titled Momodora, Reverie Under the Moonlight. This is actually the fourth game made for the Momodora series. Being a prequel though, it's fairly easy to jump into and simply play. It's a side-scrolling Metroidvania game, and as I'm sure you're aware, these types of games tend not to be too heavy on story, and the story that's there is usually told through the environment and gameplay rather than through exposition. Surprisingly though, this game is story-driven. It's still fairly open, but your character has a goal in mind, and the backtracking that you have to do is all in pursuit of this goal. So who are you and what are you doing? Well, your name is Kaho Reynol, and you're a traveling priestess from the village of Lun. An evil curse has been spreading across the land, corrupting the environment and causing people to go insane, if not outright killing them. You're traveling from Lun to the kingdom of Karst in hopes of gaining audience with the queen. You believe that you need her help in finding a cure to this curse. There are only a few NPCs that you can interact with in this game, but they all have their own stories and motivations for being in Karst. A lot of these NPCs are surprised to see a priestess. Although Kaho is a silent protagonist, it's implied that she's speaking, and her personality can be inferred. She's both gentle and determined. Through the NPC dialogues, what little of it there is, you see that Kaho is actively sharing her goddess with the people of this dead city. She's giving them hope again. She's willing to put herself into the shoes of others and mourn with them. But she's just as willing to take the steps necessary to fix any problems. She lets neither religion nor monsters get in her way. What I like is that Kaho is a selfless missionary. She gives practically. She doesn't just travel to Karst to share her goddess. She's also there to help them physically. This reminds me of Philippians 2 verse 4. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. Kaho exemplifies this virtue. She may have begun her journey to save her own people, but as she met the people of Karst, she chose to take their needs into consideration as well. And I think this is a big part of missionary work. As varied as people are, so too are their needs. We all need Jesus, but some of us need other things as well, like food or a home. And if we stopped at sharing Jesus with others, we would merely be one step of the way there. Why pass with a C when we could strive for an A? In Colossians 3:23 it reads, "Work willingly at whatever you do, as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people." Jesus gave of himself selflessly, and he held nothing back. When he saw people hurting, he always stopped to help them. He healed the sick and fed the hungry. God reveals himself in many ways. It may seem materialistic and not important in the grand scheme of things, but taking care of someone physically is just something that Jesus would do. In Matthew 6:26 it reads, "Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they?" Perhaps we will return to Kaho in a future Devo, as there are a few other things I'd like to talk to you about concerning her, but I wanted to keep this Devo short and to the point. For this week's World Quest, we need to strive to be more like Jesus. As vague as that is, let me explain. Let's not be content to simply do the minimum. Let's exceed ourselves and truly bless people. Remember, faith without works is dead.